It's time for Tycoons of Small Biz, spotlighting the true backbone of the American economy, the true tycoons of business in America, the owners, founders, and CEOs of small businesses. The show's hosts, Austin Peterson and Landon Mance, are registered representatives of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC, and registered investment advisor. The views expressed by your hosts, Austin and Landon, are not necessarily the views of Lincoln Financial Advisors. Let's lean in as Austin and Landon connect with this week's Tycoons.
Good afternoon, Tycoons, and welcome to today's episode of Tycoons of Small Biz. I am host number 2 this week, I believe. Landon is host number 1. And we are happy to have in the studio with us today, Eric Olson with Fast Turtle. Eric, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, Austin. I appreciate it. And thank you, Landon.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. And a guest that we had on the program a few weeks ago, Nancy Padberg, speaks very highly of you. She's actually who referred you to be on the show. And so we're excited to talk about this subject. We've had some SEO people on in the past. We've had some website design people on in the past, but what we found is that we get a little bit different viewpoint each time. Mm-hmm. And Landon and I mean, we've had our practices for 20 years for me, Landon a little over 10, maybe close to 12 now. And so we've engaged different firms throughout the years that we've been doing this. And quite honestly, most of them aren't very good.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I hate to say that, but unfortunately that's the case. And so we haven't had great experiences in our own practices. And so we're looking forward to talking to you about what you do. But before we do that, we typically have our guests tell us a little bit about themselves personally. And I read your bio, and I know that you have 3 teenagers at home. So I'm excited to hear how quarantine has been for your family. And just tell us about your family overall and kind of how you got started with Fast Turtle.
Sure.
And your career.
Sure, I appreciate it. Yes, I my wife and I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and with our three teenagers who keep us on our toes for sure. I've been here since 1990 now. Came out for school, ended up going to Arcadia High School, then ultimately over to ASU. Go Sun Devils.
Yeah.
And then from there, just worked for a couple different companies, and then actually ended up working for America Online and learning really the beginning of call it banner advertising and affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that really got me into digital marketing, and then subsequently worked at a couple startups, and then finally, started the company actually 2 months after I just got married. So 25 years old. Came home after 2 months, got a new wife, and I said, you know what? I'm starting my own company. I'm done with this startup stuff. So that's how Fast Turtle was born. We've been around 20 years now. We're going into our 21st. It'll be our 21st anniversary in November of this year. A lot of companies out there, they're just kind of in it and out real quick, or a lot of consultants. So we've been blessed to be around for 20 years, and it goes to really just treating small business owners and, big business. We've done stuff for Disney and Arizona State and Boston University and stuff as well, but, treating people the way that you would want to be treated. Yeah. And, pretty basic concept, I feel. And yeah, it's really served us well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think treating people the way they want to be treated and really living up to what you say you can do, I think is a big part of what you do for business. So a couple of things that you mentioned I have to hone in on. So Sun Devils, we're 100% in. I've got a son that's at the Cronkite School right now, and so we're definitely on the Sun Devil train. I also started my business shortly after being married.
Okay.
And we're still around, and so is the marriage. And so I certainly understand that, but unfortunately you said what's kind of a swear word for me, and that's America Online.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Short time.
I did some missionary work when I was about 19 years old, and I was gone for 2 years, and I was getting ready to leave. And this was right when America Online was taking off, and, the internet in general, really. Mm-hmm. And so a friend of mine says, we should invest some money in this company, America Online. Right. And I said, look, I've set aside $1,000 to get myself back into school, buy some clothes, buy some books, do all those kinds of things when I get back into the country. I can't invest it. It's got to sit in my savings account.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake of when I got married. So 2 years plus about almost another year of going back and saying, if I had invested that $1,000 in America Online then, and then sold it on the day that I got married, with all the stock splits and everything,
Oh,
that
yeah.
$1,000 investment would have been a little over $400,000. And so I made a huge mistake. And then to make matters worse, every day when I first got started in this business, I would
Mhm.
drive to my office, and for whatever reason, we were on the same commute schedule. I would merge onto one of the freeways. This was in Southern California at the time. I would merge off of one freeway onto another, and right next to me is a guy in a Porsche 911 Carrera 4, and the license plate says THXAOL. And so it just got rubbed in my face every day for
Oh,
a
man.
long, long time.
That's a great
So,
story.
yeah. So that's my sad story for the day. Landon, do you think you can top that one?
Well, Eric, if you happen to be, considering the idea of potentially working with Austin, I think now it's solidified that you should look elsewhere. But no, so I think I might have you guys both beat. So in 2015, I left my job at the bank. So I started my practice, but before I started my practice, I built the house through our builder. We moved into a new home in March of 2015. I got married in May of 2015. And then September of 2015 is when I started my practice. So I think we can all relate in that regard. So 2015 was quite a year for us.
That's great. Congratulations, man. We all have that entrepreneurial spirit, I think.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I should have clarified. Landon's been in personal practice for about 5 years, but in the business for a little over 10, because he was a financial planner with JP Morgan Chase before
Correct.
that. So,
Eric, you just mentioned something that I want to just ask you about. I want to ask you to talk more about it. So the entrepreneurial spirit, you did what a lot of entrepreneurs did, which was got some experience in a field and realized that either you wanted to be your own boss, you could do it better, you had a disagreement, or whatever the case was, something drove you to wanting to start up your own shop and do it on your own. So just talk to us a little bit about that. What kind of made you make that leap?
It was really just seeing, I did the corporate America job, and did that and saw, how bureaucracy works, and you've got all these great ideas and can't get them out to fruition. So you get frustrated in that respect. And then did the startup, the startup gigs. And actually it was a company called What's for Free Technologies. It was up in North Scottsdale, and they were going to be the Google of free stuff. And so I was like employee number 5, 6 right there. It really was a pump and dump. You guys, stock was at $3. This was in 98, 99. So the internet's starting to go up. Everything's looking great. Stock went from, $3 to 26. And then all of a sudden, I think it was after Labor Day, they came out and said, we're closed. They dropped off 5 Ferraris for the investor relations guys that Friday before the holiday. And then we all come back on Tuesday after the weekend, and it's like, the company's, we're going away. And so it was, and then I went and did some marketing consulting for another company. But at that time I said, what the hell's going on, man? Like I did the big company, didn't really work out, wasn't what I wanted to do. And then, did the fun startup, and, we're going to be the next Google and all this great stuff. That didn't really pan out. And because you look at it and go, all right, there's no real security there. Who do I trust? And I trust in me. So as I was doing consulting for a couple other companies, I said, you know what? I'm just going to create, and I'm a marketing guy, in case you don't know. So, and I was a, marketing major at ASU and an English minor. So I'm like, all right, if everybody's, I'm one of the few people I know that actually is doing what they went to school for. I said, if you're going to create a company, whether it's, the name of the company, whether it's good or bad, you want to be remembered. So, I said, all right, jumbo shrimp's already taken. So, we might as well go with Fast Turtle Digital. So from there, it really grew into, and to your point, the entrepreneurial spirit. It was really going, okay, if I'm going to wake up every day, I'm going to wake up for myself. I'm going to, I tell my kids now, and I talk to our salespeople now as well. I hustled. It was one of those. I remember walking up and down, Scottsdale and Thunderbird, or pulling the old Arcadia newspaper and seeing who was advertising and just calling them and being like, I don't know what you're doing for your website or hosting or anything, but we can either meet what you're paying or beat what you're paying right now, guaranteed. And, just give me a chance. I didn't have, I had some marketing collateral, but not much. But every day, you'd go out and, get a job, do the job. I, self-taught on, website design and development. And then as the company grew, as we started to have more clients and a bigger portfolio, you hire a designer, you've got, some other people that can help. And so, yeah, it was grassroots, but it really came down to having those other experiences with, a big company, and then again, a different environment, and then saying, all right, who do I trust? Who's going to, because I don't want to be working for a company and all of a sudden, unfortunately, a lot of, people out there get let go for no reason. Economy goes down, we all kind of saw it, back in 2008, 2009, and you're doing a great job. And all of a sudden, just, sorry, dude, we gotta let you go. And you're like, damn, man,
Yeah.
I'm working my butt off for you. We're coming in every day, maybe working 60 hours a week. And I'd rather bet on myself than anybody else. And so that's really where it came from. I probably have a little bit of a leg up in this situation. My dad's an entrepreneur. He's owned multiple companies. So I grew up seeing that. And seeing that, it's okay to take risk. He's, I joke with him, like, you're a big gambler, buddy. We had dinner last night, and he's still talking, he's invested in movies and owned hotels and trucking companies and stuff like that. And so when I've been surrounded with those things, to sit there and say, all right, I can take a chance. And I always, if I have to go get a job after, and it doesn't work out, I'll do that. But at least, kind of see where it goes. So I know that was a long-winded answer to your question, but how did you guys start it?
Well, my story was similar to yours, right? I mean, I know Landon and I both share this. We have parents that were entrepreneurs as well. Landon's, I would say, is a more sophisticated entrepreneur than my dad was. My dad basically just created a company to work for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Had a small group of employees, but he was a stucco contractor, but he didn't have to work for anybody else. And so, I understood what it meant to build my own business, but I also knew that I didn't want to stucco houses, right? And so I did go and get, a degree, and all, not to air all of my dirty laundry today, but I have a bachelor's degree in French, right? So I am one of the ones that's not working in their area. Landon's got a degree in marketing, and that guy couldn't tell me a thing about marketing. Like, he has no clue about
an easy
marketing.
A,
But no, it's very similar. I mean, it was about betting on myself and understanding that I trusted myself to get things done. And it was shortly after being married. We had a baby on the way pretty soon after that. It was hard for my wife to accept it early on. And there are still difficulties from time to time where you've got individual health insurance, or maybe you're part of a Christian health share and you don't have, these big group benefits, because her dad worked for the same company her whole life.
Yeah.
Retired with a pension. So it's completely opposite on her side,
Mm-hmm.
and difficult to deal with. So
Yeah.
I won't speak for Landon after making fun of him. I'll let him tell his story himself.
You know what, Eric, you could go look at both of our websites and you tell me who understands marketing more, okay?
That's perfect.
Who gets more contacts from their website?
What's that?
Who gets more contacts from their website?
Oh.
You probably do. You probably do.
A little shade.
But what was I going to say? Anyway. So yeah, my story is kind of like a combination almost of like both of yours. So I did an internship in college for a guy that was a financial advisor. That's how I got introduced to the business. This was probably 07, 08, something like that. Because I officially started in this business in I think it was late 2009. I did an internship, got introduced to the business, and then was in the business for a little bit. And then I actually left the business for about 18 months, and I worked for a startup in Southern Utah. Very similar story to yours, Eric. So we actually owned a couple of companies, but one of the companies that we owned was a online classified website.
Okay.
And it was called upillar.com. And it turned out to just be a huge money pit. And the company never went anywhere and ended up getting shut down. I had been dating my now wife. I was in Southern Utah. She was in Las Vegas. And I wanted to get back into the business that I was really excited and where my passion, lied, which was, doing financial planning. So moved down to Vegas. My plan was to work for a big, institution for, about 5 years and just get the experience that I needed. And I was there for about 18 months. And I said, I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to start building a business for, my clients and my family and myself. And so about 6 months after that, I think I was only there for 2.5 years at the most. I came back into the independent channel and started my practice. But my dad's been an entrepreneur for over 40 years. He's done a lot of commercial development, a lot of mixed use projects. He's also done some medical buildings and stuff like that. My older sister, we had her on the show. She's got a really cool story too. She worked for a big corporation for about a decade and worked her way up, and she was setting up all their new stores. It was a big women's retail clothing store. And then she started her own women's clothing boutique in, just an extremely competitive space. And I like telling this part because, as a new entrepreneur, she's like, if we can just do, $100,000 in sales the first year, I think that we'll be able to survive. And she did, 900,000 plus in sales in her first year. And she just has this wonderful, business now. So, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He had his hands in all kinds of stuff. So yeah, definitely runs in, up our stream as well. So
That's great.
Yeah. So, well, you mentioned jumbo shrimp wasn't available, but fast turtle was. So if there's a story behind that, love to hear that. If not, just tell us about, who's Fast Turtle? What are you guys, doing right now, and who are you serving?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. So Fast Turtle, it really evolved into, fast because we're dealing in technology and it changes all the time. So, we really talk about that. And the turtle side of it is, we take our time with our clients. We really slow down. We want them to understand what it is that we're actually doing for them. So the name actually, evolved and really became our mantra, for the company of like, this is how we're going to work. This is how, from top down, this is how know what's going on, what's the latest and greatest in technology. How can we get our clients out in front of, their potential clients and prospects, and then also slow it down because technology evolves so fast, and because we're dealing with a lot of small business owners that, and even, professionals, lawyers and doctors, and they don't have time to understand, social media and hashtags and what am I posting, or SEO and keywords and how Google changes the algorithms and all those things, and stay on top of that. So they need a trusted advisor similar to what you guys are in your fields, to really pick up the phone and call and really believe in. And so that's how the company, again, 20 years, in our industries, something to be said. So that's how we've really evolved and had that longevity, over the last 2 decades, is because, we're able to stay on top of everything. We've got a great team. We're office downtown Phoenix. And I've got clients all across the country. And we've got clients, we've had clients over in Asia. I've got clients over in the UK. because it really doesn't matter whether I'm trying to, build a website for somebody here in Phoenix or in Boston or Chicago or London. Everything's online, as you know, and more now than ever. So we've been using Zoom for the past 3 years. And so now that everybody's in it, I'm like, all right, this is it. And we've been trying to get all of our clients, 2 years ago, hey, you don't need to drive to the office. I don't need to drive to your office. Let's just use Zoom.
Yeah.
Now everybody's adopting it, which is a lovely thing. But, as we were talking, whether you're in London or whether Chicago or Phoenix and you're a lawyer or a financial advisor, you're still going after the same keywords. We can still log into Google. We can see how many people are searching monthly for your terms. And it's our job just to put you in front of them. And then also, on social and some of those other areas, LinkedIn, would be great for financial advisors, even on the advertising side. And that's where we're seeing a lot of lead generation, for business professionals. But, even just your normal business, that's the brand awareness of social and knowing what needs to get posted, how often get posted, that, those are the important, I guess, aspects of digital marketing that a lot of other firms just don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is really the combination of everything together, right? I mean, you got to have a good website, but the social is super important. Email marketing, all those kinds of things. So, I mean, I know that you guys have kind of a new thing that you're rolling out, or, maybe it's not so new, but, kind of the combination of everything together. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. I mean, treat us as though you're
Yeah.
pitching to us as potential clients.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll cut my teeth.
After 20 years, I don't think this is your first sales pitch.
So yeah, actually, one of the big things that really came out of last year was really going and talking to our small business owners to help them stay afloat, to help, what else can we be doing? Over the years, Fast Turtle, I always equated it to a sushi menu. You could come to us and you could say, hey, Eric, all I need is a website. And I said, all right, great. We'll sell you a website. Or all we need is social media. And so, or SEO or email marketing. And we say, all right, those are the 1 or 2 services that you really need. And last year, through the Zoom meetings, through, multiple conversations with these businesses, they needed a lot more. It's not just, call it 10 years ago. If you were on the first page of Google, your business was going to do pretty well. You're going to get the rankings, or, the phone calls, all of those things. Now you need a holistic approach where you are on the first page of Google, but you're also doing some paid advertising, whether it's on LinkedIn or your social media platforms, or even on Google itself. You also need to do, once they go to your website, because there's so much noise, because there's so much going on, and, social media, Slack, we're all getting hit with different messaging all the time. You need to make sure that you're staying in front of them. So a lot of the email marketing with brand awareness, in monthly tips, video is huge. Just call it a 30-second video clip that you put out on LinkedIn or Facebook. That is really something of great value that you can start sharing and keep your brand in front of people. So we actually came back, and towards the end of last year I said, guys, we've because our clients were even asking, they'd be saying, hey, we're paying you for search engine optimization. Doesn't that include website updates? And you're like, no, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand. How is that computing? But those things would start to creep in of like, hey, I know you're doing our social media, but doesn't that also include some of the SEO stuff that you're doing? And you're like, no, it doesn't, but we can. It's going to be X, number of dollars more. And then finally, we just came back and said, all right, let's strip this stuff back down. We know what businesses need. They need it all. So let's take, the programs that we have, whether it's SEO, email marketing, search engine optimization, some paid advertising, which is really the lead generation there. And let's just put it in an affordable program. And so we were able to come back and say, all right, if I'm a small business owner, and if I were going to hire a young person out of college, that salary is probably $36,000, $40,000. And they're probably not going to have 20 years of experience and a team behind them that knows all of the things that my team knows. So we were able to come out and say, okay, for an SEO program to, also have social media marketing, also have, some email in there. let's bundle these things together, give them a great dashboard that they can see. We talk about results. You always have to measure, what you're doing, and then also set expectations. All right, where do we need to get as far as lead gen? And so we, because of that, we talk about business to our customers. We don't just talk about, here's your 12 social media posts or your 20 social media posts. It's like, how is it moving your needle in revenue? That's ultimately the most important thing. So we're able to create a program like that on the low end, and a little bit higher program that's about, $5,000 a month, the equivalent of having, maybe a marketing director, so to speak. And then, you get a monthly phone call with us. We review all the analysis and the reporting, and we've got call tracking built in. We've got all the form fills built in. And with those dashboards, you can even use it. It has a CRM function as well. So, it's all inclusive for that, call it small, medium-sized business that's out there that, because we're all working remotely now, might have had to lay off a marketing person. Now they can go ahead and go to a firm and say, rather than bringing someone back, we can look at, potentially just hiring a firm that will do all of these things, that will be our pseudo marketing assistant as we get, our business back and running to pre-COVID time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that I've talked to businesses about, so Landon and I serve mostly privately held businesses, and, we've talked to them, or at least I have. Actually, we've talked about it in joint meetings together, but we've talked about how this COVID thing was actually an opportunity to kind of double down on your marketing and take market share from those who weren't able or willing to market, or, to double down.
Yep.
Right. And so it really was this opportunity to kind of turn it into a hockey stick as you come out of the pandemic, if you double down and you do what you need to grow your brand awareness, up your marketing, lead generation, all those kinds of things, depending on what it is that you need for your business. And the businesses that did that are seeing the benefits now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't matter what industry, right? I mean, we've seen it from, restaurant equipment repair to mattress firms to, it doesn't matter. It really spans the horizon, so to speak. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're doubling down on marketing and doing what you need to get that message out, it increases sales, and you were able to ride the pandemic out and be much, much stronger.
Yeah. I agree. And that,
Eric, I got a follow-up question for you. You mentioned a few things that I love, and it resonates with me, and I think probably with most of our listeners and followers as well. You said that business owners, when it comes to this kind of stuff, don't really know what they need, and I agree with you 100%. Right? They may say that they need a new website, but after having a conversation with a professional like you, you may determine that that's the least of their needs, that they really need to be doing all this other stuff. So I love how you're packaging it all together, because I can tell you from experience, and I think Austin would echo this, that it's overwhelming, to try to manage your social media platforms and curate content and coordinate everything. I mean, it is a lot. So for you to package that all together, to take that off the plate of a business owner, I think that's extremely valuable. My follow-up question is, I can speak for, regarding my industry, but I do feel like this is a common concern, and I'm sure you've heard it. So if a business comes to you and says, oh, this sounds great, I want you to do everything, take it all off my plate, coordinate, get this all moving forward and turnkey for me. And I'm just speaking from a prospective client, but my industry is unique, Eric. So how do you customize the content so that it speaks to the people that I want to, speak to? So how do you manage and address that?
So that's a great question, because one, everybody's business, it is unique to them, their clients, and also variations. Are we just starting out, or are we a monster in the industry? It really goes to our onboarding process. And so we I'd rather, and I've always told the team this, spend more time onboarding someone to really understand who they are, what they do, who they serve, all of that. I'd rather spend more time there than more time on the back end on editing and redos and all of this. So we spend a lot of time on the front end when we onboard somebody. One, there's an online form that we send. We call it the data dump. Give us all the information you have. And this is years of experience of knowing where the pitfalls are, where we can say, all right, here are all the questions we need you to answer. And we want to get you as deep as possible. That's one. The other side is we do client kickoff meetings. So the project manager, the person that's going to be working on the project, as well as the account executive that just sold that project, and the client are going to be on that kickoff call. And now, most of them are via Zoom. We're recording those. So that's another chance where we're just asking all of these questions. So we're diving deeper into, all right, tell me more about this. How, your best customer is who? And why? And so we really get that. And then that way, when our content people actually go and start writing the content for you, it's something that's now specific to your organization. We have that, but also we're doing research in your organization as well. We're also seeing, and a lot of this is we're coming from a marketing standpoint. So a lot of this is, one, tailored towards brand awareness, and then two, tailored towards, in the SEO case, it's going to be, it's not going to be Shakespeare. It's going to be more content driven and marketing driven. We have some very technical clients, some semiconductor clients, as well as some other very technical doctors, where they'll actually write some of the articles, or they will send us articles that they're getting and saying, I want something like this. So and that's the difference, I think, with our firm, is we're very collaborative even throughout the process, as well as being on the front end, just really proactive to get as much information as we possibly can.
I think that's one of the crucial points to what you do, right? It truly has to be tailored. And that's, I think, the mistake that a lot of these digital marketing agencies make, is that they try to just serve the masses and this will work for everybody, and I'll change it a little bit and I'll put their logo on it, but it's the same message, and it just doesn't have the same effect for the company that hired you. So I tell you what, Eric, I know that you're pretty active with the Phoenix Business Journal.
Yeah.
And you had an article that just came out, and I want to get this right, so I'm going to read it off the page here. It says, "How to Boost Brand Awareness on Social Media in 2021." Right. So that's very specific. We've already talked a little bit about coming out of the pandemic, but tell us a little bit about that article for people who haven't read the actual article.
Sure. And you can go to Phoenix Business Journal online and check it out, or even my LinkedIn and check it out as well. With social media, one of the biggest things with social media, everyone, and this goes to business owners understanding the different elements of digital marketing. Anything paid, that's going to be your lead gen. Social media is really about brand awareness and staying in front of people. And so, typically studies have shown you need to be posting anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week to get a measurable effect in revenue for your company. One of the big things, you've got to use your voice is one of the key elements here. Every company is unique. We're not all, we're a fun company at Fast Turtle. So we're joking around and goofing off and stuff like that. We take our job seriously, but everybody's going to be a little bit different. Use your voice, really be authentic is what it comes down to. Another part of content that you want to be putting out there, it needs to be informative. Too often I see companies spend, here's our product, or this is our service, or if you'd like a demo, click here, that sort of thing. Enough already. We get it. We know you're there. All right. But we really want to know, you've got to give to get. That's one of the things that, I saw the alliances thing out there. That's one of the things they talk about as well. I know David as well. So those are the things. Give free information. It's out there, 20-second snippets, 30-second snippets. Hey, this was a great article. We really love it. This is my spin on this article, and then post that. And those are the things that you want to be able to put out there. We talked about posts consistently. That's in the article as well. The 3 to 5 times is kind of that sweet spot, especially, professional on the LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's a great place. If you're a B2C company, you need to be doing Instagram advertising. And that's one of the things that we've seen really explode over the last year and a half with everything going on. Track your results. Don't do it just to do it. If you're putting stuff on LinkedIn and nobody's engaging with you, go back and look at it and go, all right, what is it that we're putting? Why are we doing this? Is it generating the business? Because this is time, man. And time's one of the biggest things that we lose as far as capital in our lives. So we really got to look at that and go, all right, what's working, what's not. And then don't be afraid to pivot. If you're doing something for 3 months, give it a solid 3 months, look at the results and go, all right, this isn't working. Facebook is not, where we're supposed to be posting our messaging. Let's look at Instagram. Let's look at LinkedIn. Let's, look at the other areas and see what engagement we're getting there. So those would be the major tips that are in the article, but also just really, how we run campaigns as well. And it's all in the numbers.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think Landon's got something to say here, but I got to get this in. So you mentioned specifically video, which I know has been huge. And you mentioned being informative and being authentic, right? So video is a great way for somebody to see that you truly are authentic and to get a feel for who you are and whether or not they would want to work with you, right? And so, not to toot my own horn, but when this pandemic was really kicking off, right? So think mid-March to mid-April-ish, I put out a 6-part video series that was like 90 seconds each video. And it was 6 things that you can control with your finances during the pandemic, because everybody felt like they'd lost control. They had no idea what was going on. The stock market's going down big one day and up big the next day, and nobody knew what to do. And so I just put out some tips. They don't need me to fulfill those. They might want my advice to do it, but they didn't need me to fulfill those or to look a little bit more. And so, like you said, it's just about getting the information out there, and they can see. Now, everybody likes me, just so we're clear.
Of course.
But they can see whether or not they would want to work with me. If this is somebody whose personality will mesh with what I want from a financial planner, and they saw that on a 90-second video, and then they could move on. If they want to interact with me, they do. If they didn't, then they moved on.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so, I mean, and it's fun. I mean, I've got a face for radio, so I'm not sure about the video things. I don't have the Just for Men look that Landon has going on, but... All right, Landon, finish us off.
So
bring us home.
Yeah, I love all this stuff that you're sharing here, Eric, and I think it's all super valuable. And I want to make sure that we spend, a couple minutes here, and so that you can just give some last minute, tips and tricks of business owners so they can, go out and make all their digital stuff better. But a couple of things I just wanted to kind of highlight that you said. You said, give away some free, snippets or tips and tricks, through video and stuff. And I think one of the issues that at least I come across, when it comes to business owner is, I'm not going to give away all this stuff for free. I've spent 5, 10, 25 years in my field, and I'm not just going to give this stuff away for free. And I think I heard this on an interview or something, and the guy comes back and he says, well, let me ask you this. All the information that you have in your head could someone go online, go onto Google and dig all this information up, themselves? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so. So it's not about giving free information. It's about providing value so that you can start this relationship with a prospective client, because most people have no desire to go out and do whatever it is themselves. They just want to know about it, know what the issues are, know that there's someone out there that can help them to do it. And then, hire somebody like you or Austin and I to do it for them, because they don't understand it. They don't want to do it themselves. And it's a perfect example. Like with me, I don't want to pretend to know how to do SEO and all this stuff. Like I know nothing about that. I want someone like you to do it for me that's got decades of experience that I know is going to be successful, over time to get me to where I want to go. So I love that you kind of mentioned that. But for business owners that are looking for something that they can do or implement in their businesses, today or tomorrow or, this week, share a couple tips and tricks that our listeners can take away and do something, effective for their businesses, in the digital sense, right away.
Yeah, no, that's great. Quick things you can look at your website. You're going to want at least 3 to 5 call to actions on your website. So as I scan down the homepage, do I have a let's talk or contact me or get a free quote or free estimate or, something along those lines, at least 3 to 5 as I'm going down, on that page. Make sure logo's in the top left. That's, the eye reads in a T pattern on digital. So top left, contact information is top right, and then people are going straight down the center of the page. So make sure that that's aligned. Make sure that your contact information is on your website. Too often people are like, oh, I have a contact page. Okay, why couldn't you just put your phone number next to where it says contact? Like Jiminy Christmas, man. 60% of all internet traffic is through mobile devices. And if I can just click that damn phone number, I'm sorry. Like, don't you want me to call you? Like, why are you making me fill out a form? Like, come on, brother. We're all here to help each other out. So it's little stuff like that. And granted, it's all common sense to me because we live it. But your average small business owner, they don't see those things. That would be the easiest thing I would say. The other thing, if you're not using email marketing to communicate with your clients on a monthly basis, get something like that set up. Or use social media to speak to your clients and potential prospects on it, and ask for business, ask for referrals. Don't hide that, and make that part of your monthly email marketing campaign, in some of that content. So those would be I guess the quick and easy things that I would look at. To your point. Before, with you guys being financial advisors, yeah, I can set up a online account and fuddle around and lose money. And believe me, I've done it.
Buy GameStop and then forget to sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what? You didn't put a stop on that? That's weird. So those are the things that, you guys really bring a solid service, being that trusted advisor. And we do the same thing. We've got a free dashboard. If the clients want to do it themselves, they can do it themselves. But ultimately they look at and go, oh my goodness, they look like you and I, Austin, pulling their hair out. And then, looking for, good advice and from a trusted leader. So.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And you actually gave a second bit of advice embedded in the piece of advice that you gave, and that's that make sure that your website is mobile enabled, because like you said, they're looking at your website on mobile devices, and if it's not mobile enabled, they're going to move on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we really appreciate the conversation. Anything else you wanted to add before we close it up, Landon?
No. I think that was a great conversation. You gave some great tips and tricks. For people that want to track you down, Eric, I know you mentioned, LinkedIn. I think it's probably fair to assume that you got a website. So if people want to track you down, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, they can go online and Google us. It's Fast Turtle Digital, or go to our website, fastturtle.com. You'll get there both with 1 T or 2 T's. We're actually, when I set up the company, it was with 1 T. So you can check us out there, or give us a call at 480-348-0467, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out.
Awesome. We appreciate you being here today, Eric. We look forward to staying in touch with you. You mentioned referrals, so we'll be asking you for referrals for other people to be on the show with us. But we appreciate you being here, and we're grateful to Nancy Padberg for the introduction to you.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Eric.
Thanks, Clayton.
You've been listening to Tycoons of Small Biz, proudly hosted by Austin Peterson and Landon Mance. Austin and Landon are comprehensive financial planning professionals specializing in financial, estate, and succession planning for small business owners. Austin and Landon have offices in Scottsdale, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada, and represent clients in 14 states throughout the country. Join Austin, Landon, and the featured Tycoons live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. right here on Business RadioX and your favorite podcast